guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new video. Life is like a dream to a large extent, and unfortunately for many people, they're not lucid within that dream. Now, what is a lucid dream? A lucid dream is when you realize while you're dreaming that you're dreaming and you wake up within the dream. You don't wake up physically and wake up back into this reality. You become conscious of the fact that you're dreaming within the dream, and now you exert control over what you're doing within the dream. Lucid dreaming is very, very powerful. Now, many people here in this world aren't even lucid within this dimension. So we've got to start taking more control. This is how we take our power back. I hear that so often. Take your power back, wake up. Well, how do you do that? Well, you do that by taking your control or honing your control. If you look at the control that you have over your life and your habits, you name it, as a sword. Most people's swords are very blunt. They need to be honed, they need to be sharpened. So it's really windy out here, folks, so I'm going to make this just a short message. There's a million different ways to Sunday to begin exerting control over your life, working on your habits, fine-tuning your habits, getting rid of unnecessary behaviors. Again, folks, practicing willpower. Now, I will say that it's going to be much easier for you to exert willpower over the circumstances in your life and your habits if you stretch your spine out and you increase the vertebral openings within your cerebral spinal column. I've talked about this for years on this channel. Yoga is a very valid path to liberation. It's a very valid path to union with your higher self. Your higher self is the part of you that you're no longer in connection with, that knows what's best for you. It's basically the sum total of all of our potential. We're here in the land of the bottom feeder down in hell, separated from our highest self. Most of us do not do what we know we should do. We have bad habits. We're stuck in this muck and we have a million different excuses for it. So we begin exerting control over our habits. We begin practicing yoga, practicing alchemical breathing, energy gathering exercises. We start to modulate our diet. We start to work with our energy centers. All of these things in tandem with one another create the necessary friction so that the vehicle of your spirit can actually take, action. It can move so that you can become a greater version of yourself. That was kind of a mouthful, so I apologize. But folks, every day that you wait, every day that you put things off on a spiritual level, on a physical level, the things that you know you need to do to evolve, every day that you waste, every minute that you waste is a minute or a day that you can't get back. So again, what ends up happening is people end up living in this vicious cycle of I'll do it tomorrow, and then days become weeks, weeks become months, months become years, and before you know it, you can't go back. I hope that makes sense. Again, practicing yoga. And I'm not talking about these extreme forms of yoga that are being taught in the West nowadays. Just basic stretching and breathing, tuning into your breath. So another good thing that you can do is you can get one of those inflatable yoga balls or stretching balls, and then a couple times a week just lay back on it and really relax all of your muscles. Do the full body relaxation exercise while you're using the blow up ball, and really just let your spine unwind. Lack of communication from the brain to the rest of the body through the spine happens by way of the vertebral openings becoming constricted because of a handful of things. Bad posture, the way that we sleep in beds, the effect of our body being pushed down against the floor or the ground even. There's a million different ways in which we achieve a bad state of posture. Bad posture, ladies and gentlemen, restricts the flow of energy over time coming from your brain through your vertebral openings into the rest of your body. It also hinders the way that messages and nerve impulses coming in through your hands and the rest of your body reach the brain. So improper communication. It's kind of like that Tool song, Schism. Rediscover communication. What do you think that song's about, folks? Read between the lines. Come on. This is getting ridiculous. Now, I would suggest if you're looking to get into yoga and you don't know where to start, frank Rudolph, what the hell was his last name? Frank Rudolph Young, I think. I have a couple of his books, I believe, in my store, www.sacredhealingtools.com. That's the best yoga. It's easy, it's basic, and that's really where I learned, not necessarily learned, but he validated something that I've known all along about the spine, about how posture affects your consciousness by way of your vertebral openings. I've been talking about this for years, folks. I've been talking about yoga. This is nothing new, but it was really refreshing to pick up some of his books. And I believe he's deceased now. And to read that, the man was way ahead of his time. But the real goal of yoga and stretching, at least here in 2021, here in hell, should be to help your brain, or it's you working on getting better communication between your brain and your body and your brain. You see, a lot of you guys have a completely messed up spinal column. Your posture is destroyed. The discs in your spine, you name it, the ligament or the tissues, your spinal cord is hindered. And because of that, you're like in a state of being partially broken. And while you're partially broken, you're trying to take on all these tasks and hone your willpower, and you have all these obligations. It's very difficult to actually get what needs to be done when your spine and your vertebral openings are constricted. You've got to unwind. Yoga should be first and foremost, in tandem with magic, the foundation of your practice here, folks, your spiritual practice. You're not going to get anywhere with your spiritual practice without magic and without yoga. You've got to use your body. Yeah, magic is the yoga of the mind. Yoga is the yoga of the body. You can incorporate both of them together. In fact, the greatest forms of ceremonial magic incorporate yoga, physical yoga, with magic. I mean, what do you think a real pentagram ritual is? When you're invoking the 4 elements, that's mental yoga. You're also tuning your body to the different elements in the spheres, the Kabbalistic spheres. So again, folks, let's get a grip. Let's wake up. Peace be with you.